The Live Stream Code and Rating Administration has rated this online event PG. All ages admitted. Please be kind and stay on topic.
It's Adventures with BK and Dave. Come join them in their nostalgic journey back to simpler days. Old-time commercials, each one a delight. They're so darn good, they could watch them all day and all night. All night.
Good evening and welcome to Adventures with BK and Dave. My name's Dave Sundstrom, and along with me today is my friend Barry King. How's it going, Barry?
Doing good. And I think tonight I got a feeling that it's going to be great.
I have a feeling it's going to be pretty darn awesome as well. I'm not even going to try to do that. Was such a good Tony the Tiger impression. I shan't try to copy it, Barry. It was impressive.
Thanks.
So let's say hello to some folks real quick. We've had some folks that have been patiently waiting in the chat for a while. And it's always good to say hello to those folks. Lance Chaffin is here tonight hanging out. And let's see who else is here. Wow, it's weird. The chat just kind of went away. Everything that had happened prior to 8:30 p.m. Eastern time is gone. That's the first time I've seen it do that in StreamYard. I'm sure it's still in YouTube. But Lance Chaffin's here. Sarah, also known as My Flock is Everywhere, is here. Danny Staten, Ken Wilkinson, A-Child, channel member Tracy Roth Myers, channel member Angela McArdle, Adrian James, Gary Carpenter. Let's see who else. Did I say Kenneth Wilkinson? I'm going to miss someone, and if I do, I apologize. You know, that's just, it happens. Sakina McMurrin is here.
Yeah.
Gary
See, My Flock
Carpenter is
Sarah's
here.
out there too. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a nice crowd with us already. And what we're going to do tonight, as we always do when it's an episode of Adventures with BK and Dave, is we're going to go back. We're going to watch some old-timey commercials, some really good ones from when we were growing up during our formative years. And I think you came up with the topic for tonight, right, Barry?
Did I? It was so long ago. If it's more than like 2 months, I can't remember anything.
It was a while ago. It was definitely a while ago when we talked about what our next topic should be pre-Halloween. And you with so much going on, especially you. You are a busy feller over there on WBHF radio.
Oh, well, if I wasn't doing something there, I'd be doing something somewhere else. So I might as well do it there on the radio. So I'm glad.
Seems like a decent place. Seems like a decent place to do stuff.
I love it.
Yeah, we'll let you talk a little bit more. Make sure before we leave tonight, you talk more about what you're doing over there. Of course, your fantastic program on Saturday mornings and all the good stuff. But let's get right into it because, that's what we're here to talk about tonight is vintage cereal commercials. We've got 10 commercials queued up, and I thought we'll just play them one at a time. Barry submitted, I think, 6 of these. I did 4 of them. And along the way, we're going to share memories. Now, with normal live streams, when it's just kind of me responding to people's chat messages, we try to be really responsive. Folks, understand tonight where we're doing it. It's a little different format. We're going to hold off on reading any of the chat comments until the end, where we're going to ask for your thoughts and your memories about these cereal commercials as well. So
I bet you a lot of people have some cereal opinions. That's for
I
sure.
bet,
A lot of cereal out there.
they do. But I ask for your patience tonight until we get to that part, and then we will enjoy each one of your cereal opinions. I love that. And they are a very cereal group. You know that, right?
That's right. I'm glad to be a part of that group. I'm part of the cereal group.
That's right. I consider myself blessed to be part of this community. That's for sure. That is for sure. All right, let's get rolling. I'm going to turn off the chat on the side here and queue up the videos. The first one is one that you sent me, Barry, and I got to admit, this one I have little to no recollection of. So I can't wait to hear more about this one. Here we go.
Oh, we are the Freakies, and this is our Freakies Street. We never miss a meal, cause we love our cereals. This is the big boss, we call him Boss Moss. Make sure you spell it right.
Snorkel's what they call me, so handsome and pretty.
He's little ham-host.
He's got a weird nose.
Do I really have to sing?
My name is Gumbo.
I am Kamumbo.
You're standing on my foot.
Gargoyle is his name.
Small this is my game. I know more than you do.
Says you.
And don't forget me, I'm goody-goody. I always do what's right. For instance, I eat Freaky cereal because it's got a lot of vitamins and it's good for me.
You too can have crunchy, freaky cereal as part of your good breakfast. And there's a free freaky in specially marked boxes.
Okay, here comes the big finish.
We are the Freakies. We are the Freakies. This is the Freakies Street.
Freakies?
The Freakies, yeah. Exactly. I remember the Freakies well for a short time span that they were available, at least in the cereal world. I noticed the commercials marked for 1974 there at the end for the copyright, but the Freakies actually started in 1972, and they were producing that cereal all the way up until 1976 when they discontinued it. And in cereal time, that's very short span, but I do remember it well. And they even had the little Freakies, the little creatures, little refrigerator magnets, and they all look just like them. And I had those, and I was just into the Freakies for some reason. I think it's because maybe I was a little freaky myself, and I can identify with them growing up, being the nerd, geek, oddball, and the way they were. And let's go through their names. You had Boss Moss, Snorkeldorf, Ham Hose, Grumble, the one with the little looked like the frog with two legs, Cow Mumble, Gargle, and Goody Goody. That was all the Freakies' names there as they went through them. And Freakies, they pop up a lot now. They were used in I think Tom Hanks. There's a scene in The Burbs with Tom Hanks, and one of them is on the couch eating a box of Freakies when The Burbs came out, the Joe Dante movie. And in the post-credit sequence of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Chris Pratt as Star-Lord at the end in that post-credit sequence, he's wearing a Freakies t-shirt, believe it or not, in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So I liked Freakies. I mean, it reminded me of if you took maybe a little Captain Crunch without the crunch berries and mixed it with corn pops and one little nugget or whatever, and they were like the golden color Freakies. They didn't have the shapes of the monsters or anything. They were just little nuggets of cereal, and I just liked them. It was a cereal that didn't last long, but it's one of my favorites. So Freakies, thumbs up for Freakies, and I remember that ad very well.
Was it multicolored cereal?
No, it was all one color.
All one color.
I think the Freakies were all one color. I think,
and like a corn pop kind of.
Yeah, kind of like that yellowish gold color.
Yeah, got it.
But I do remember that they had several commercials. That was the one I remember the most, though, was that one. But I remember the commercials and stuff. The short-lived cereal, the Freakies. I remember them well.
You know, that commercial ran for a full minute. That was quite. I mean, a musical endeavor. It was great.
It was a chorus line at the end.
Yeah, it's like a Broadway production done with these little cereal creatures. It was pretty darn impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't remember, like I said, maybe I saw them once when I was a kid, but that was not, I can guarantee you Freakies never made it to the Sundstrom home, sadly. And I'm going to lay it out. It was kind of a rarity for us to have sugared cereal in the home. It was most often Cheerios.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
For a kid. Yeah.
Cornflakes, but not the good stuff, right? Not like the great stuff.
Well, even if your mom had served you Frosted Flakes, that was just cornflakes frosted with sugar. Right. At least you could have had that. Yeah.
That would have been great if we could have had that, but we ended up having and typically it wasn't the brand name either. It was whatever the store brand was.
Right.
But on a rare occasion when we were able to wear our mother down at the grocery store, we were able to occasionally get a box or two of sugared cereal. And do you remember those little tiny boxes? Like it would be like a pack of 10 boxes, and each one would have like a different types.
They call that the variety pack. Yeah.
we-
Post did it and Kellogg's did that. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When
Had an
we were
assortment.
kids.
And the bag inside those little
Right, you
tiny
could use it as
boxes
a
were made
bowl.
where you could put milk in there and eat it
Yeah.
out of the box. Yeah.
It didn't
was
work very well, but you could.
great. Yeah.
I was thinking about that today because I remember trying to do that because it would have perforations and you would open it up and you would open the bag and then you'd pour the milk in. But
Right.
it seemed like it would always leak, probably because I wasn't doing it right.
But
Yeah, that was
even then,
cool.
I had a sister, and I'm like, well, I don't want the cornflakes. I want these. I don't want
Right.
those. I don't want those. So you're going to pick and choose.
Right, we would fight over them. We would.
Yeah.
There was always in
yeah.
the variety pack. There'd be 4 or 5 good ones.
Well, you mentioned
And-
store brands. I can see why parents did that because it was a struggle. I mean, cereal, even in the 70s, and even today, cereal is expensive now, and it was
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
expensive back then. The names brand, because you were paying for the name,
Right.
and you could have the store brand, the Kroger brand Fruit Loops, or the Ingles local grocery store brand of Apple Jacks or something. And sometimes you'd luck up and get some that tasted almost just as good as the real one, which was good. But the problem is, you get this stupid box with no characters
Right.
or anything on the back to read or
Yeah.
anything, no
There was-
stuff to look at. So
It wasn't as much fun, even if it tasted 100% exactly the same. It wasn't the same because you didn't have the box, you didn't have the fun characters.
right.
Yeah. Speaking
Very
of fun
true.
characters, we've got number 2 here. Another submission by you, good sir. Let me go ahead
Okay.
and fire this one up.
Quiet! I'm me, Fruit Brute, with my fruit-flavored cereal, Fruit Brute, part of your nutritious breakfast.
Fool on you!
But delicious Fruit Brute has fruit-flavored marshmallows for the howling good taste of fruit.
Count Chocula's got chocolate marshmallows.
Frankenberry's got strawberry-flavored marshmallows.
Fruit Brute, with the howling good taste of fruit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fruit.
So did you really prefer Fruit Brute over Count Chocula and Frankenberry and Blueberry?
I did, because Fruit Brute was more along the lines of Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah.
It was that fruity one, and I love Fruity Pebbles, and you had Cocoa Pebbles. It was almost like very similar to Chocula and
Yeah.
Frankenberry. So yeah, Fruit Brute for me, number one. The Wolfman was always my favorite Universal monster. If anybody said, "What's your favorite, Dracula, Frankenstein, Creature from Black Lagoon, or Wolfman?" I said, "Well, I like the Wolfman because I love dogs. I've always been a dog lover, wolves
Yeah.
and stuff." So Fruit Brute came out in 1974, which is about the same time that Freakies was out there too. So
Yeah,
there's a pattern forming here, So Fruit Brute was great. It didn't last as long. It only lasted till 1982.
Yeah.
And then they just discontinued it. And I think he kind of resembled more of a fox on the commercial in the box
Yeah,
than a
he did.
wolf. But we get it. He was canine. But I loved how they tasted. They were very fruity, and I noticed in the commercial, Frankenberry and Count Chocula, they always were scared of everything. They were like, oh, everything scared them. Even Blueberry would scare them. But Fruit Brute, he didn't. He was out there and he was like, hey, I'm Fruit, and he's scaring them. So he was very sure of himself. And I liked that too about him. But so he was just definitely my favorite out of the Monster series. And I liked all of them. I think my least favorite was probably Blueberry, the ghost one. And I didn't hate it. I just didn't like it much. But after Fruit Brute went away, they replaced it with it was like a fruity, yummy mummy or something like that, based on a mummy.
Something
And that
like that. Yeah.
kind of came in. And but
There's a new one now too. I can't remember what it is, but I visited
It's a
the Monster
girl.
Cereal website. Yes, it's a
there's
girl.
It's a green girl, and I can't remember what it is. I'll have to look it up. We were talking about it on our Halloween show at WBHF on Halloween. So yeah.
But the classics are Count Chocula,
Yes.
Frankenberry, Blueberry to a certain extent, and I lump Fruit Brute in there. I do. I mean, that one I remember it for us kids back then. It had an impact on us.
I don't know why he didn't last as long. I thought he was my favorite one. Leave it to me to get attached to something that's going to go away. That's if I like it, that's the death knell for something. If I like it, obviously. So
they all went away for a little while, right? And it's
Yeah,
only been in the
they
last
did.
decade or so that they've come back.
Then they come back only
Around
now during Halloween.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do love me some Count Chocula. Count Chocula is my favorite.
You like that milk at the bottom, right?
Yeah. It's the chocolate milk reward at the end. That's why I like Cocoa Pebbles too. We'll get to that later.
That's awesome.
All right, we got another one. This one's one that I submitted. It's my all-time favorite sugared cereal.
There's Lucky! Get us Lucky Charms! They're magically delicious!
Always after me Lucky Charms, the frosted oat cereal with sweet surprises. Pink hearts, yellow moons, orange stars, green clovers, and blue diamonds. Part of a complete breakfast. Oh, they're coming! I'll make a rocket and fly away.
Frosted Lucky Charms!
They're magically delicious.
So good. So good. I know that with Lucky Charms, it's kind of, you either love them or you don't love them because of the marshmallows, right? And I think it's if you like circus peanuts and you enjoy that kind of hard, stale, marshmallow-y thing, then you're going to love it. And if you don't, you don't.
You just named my mom's favorite candy is circus peanuts, and I can't stand them. But my mom loved those things. But
your mom has great taste.
We ate when Lucky Charms were in the house and we could eat it. Mm-hmm. I wanted the cereal, and I gave the marshmallows to my sister because she liked those, and I just split them up because I didn't like the marshmallows either. So yeah,
you were essentially just eating Cheerios then, Barry. I mean,
that's right.
It wasn't even sugared. You were just eating the oat part of the cereal.
That was weird. That was just so weird. I don't know why. Now today I could have a bowl of them and love the whole thing. So yeah. much more educated cereal palate now as an adult. Yeah,
it's refined. It's sophisticated. So you gave the marshmallows to your sister?
Yes, she could have them. She wanted them.
Yeah, smart gal, that sister of yours.
She is smarter than me.
The next commercial we're going to watch, they're the very formulaic, just like the Lucky Charms commercial. There's a mascot that always seems to get caught by the kids. So you know where we're going with this one. Here's our next commercial.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Got juice, toast, and tricks, but not enough milk.
Huh? What? Disguised like a milkman, I'll get Tricks. Milkman, at your service. How's Tricks?
Great, handsome.
Sure. Tricks in raspberry red, lemon yellow, orange.
It's a rabbit! Silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. Besides, you belong here.
Well, I'm still close to Tricks.
Poor rabbit. I always felt really, Lucky, at least he was trying to he had the Lucky Charms and he was trying to keep it from the kids. But the rabbit, they were always keeping it from the rabbit. And I always felt really bad for the rabbit.
It was just the opposite. You're right. It was just the opposite. And I'm like, why wouldn't, obviously at the end of the Lucky Charms commercials, the kids always wound up getting it at the end, they all got together fine.
Yeah.
We all know it's going to happen like that. And I guess he got them at the end of the Tricks commercials, but every time I'd watch him, like, would you please just give him the Tricks? What's the big deal? He's a cute little nice bunny rabbit. He's cool. So let him have them.
And did he really get it at the end? It seems like he always got like one bite, and then he would, he went so crazy with delight over that one bite that he would expose himself as the rabbit.
He didn't go as crazy as Sonny for the Cocoa Puffs. He lost his mind when he got it. But the Tricks rabbit, he was okay when he got it. He was just happier.
Yeah.
Now, did you know that? The earlier episodes, they were kind of episodes. The early commercials of Tricks. I'm first, let me say, when we did our Halloween show, we were talking about candy bars, and we could not believe the date that candy bars, some of these had been invented when they first came out. They were much older than we thought, back in the early 1900s, late 1800s for some of these candy bars. Well, these cereals are older than I thought they would be. Tricks was introduced in 1954, and that's a lot long earlier than I thought it was. That's 70 years ago for that cereal to come out, if you're counting. But Mort Marshall was a voice actor in the first commercials of that Tricks cereal commercial, voiced him. But the ones that we always remember, and the one that you played tonight, is Russell Horton is a voice actor, and he was an actor who had a few credits to his name to acting and stuff. If you saw his face, you might go, "Oh, yeah, I think I remember that guy." But along with all of his other acting credits he had, I found out that he was the voice of the droid 21B in the Return of the Jedi Star Wars radio drama that NPR did. So he went from doing a quick cereal commercial for the rabbit to the droid on Return of the Jedi in a radio drama, which were fantastically produced. If you've never heard the Star Wars radio drama,
very good. Yeah,
very good. So, yeah, and I don't know if you remember, Dave, but one commercial had Bugs Bunny helping the rabbit once on one of the commercials. Bugs Bunny was on there with him once.
I don't remember that. I do remember. I think it was probably mid to late '80s, maybe even early '90s. Do you remember when there was the whole thing? Let's finally give the rabbit his bowl of cereal. Do you remember that campaign?
Right, I do remember that. Yeah.
Very short-lived, though. Again,
and
it's like
I was post high school, so I really didn't care at that point. I'm like, I should have given it to him before this.
I still cared, Barry. I still cared, even though I was far too old to care. I was like, well, okay, finally, rabbit gets his cereal. Good.
Anything could happen. They finally let Big Bird. Finally let everyone on the Sesame Street see Mr. Snuffleupagus finally.
Right.
The mystery was over. So there you go.
Yeah. Which I was kind of sad about. That's topic for another day when we talk
about
Sesame Street and everything. But the magic of Snuff was that no one could see him but Bigfoot Bird. And that whole frustrating thing, like Snuffleupagus would show up, and then 2 seconds later, when anyone else was there, he'd be gone.
That was a secret we shared. Viewers, we kids knew it along with him. That's about as bad as when the frog wouldn't sing in the Warner Brothers cartoon when the guys would come over and he'd go, "Whoa." I'm like, come on, frustrating for a kid.
Yes. All right, let's move on to another one. This one you submitted. This one, I have to admit, it was a favorite of my sister. I have a sister that's 10 months younger than me, Valerie, and she loved this cereal, but it befuddled me. So let's watch the commercial, and I'm going to talk to you about my befuddlement.
A is for apple, J is for Jack, cinnamon toasty apple jacks. You need a complete breakfast, that's the fact. Why not make it apple jacks? Apple jacks, 10 vitamins and minerals, that's what it packs. Apple tasty, crunchy too. Kellogg's Apple Jacks. Apple Jacks, Apple Jacks.
Apple Jacks cereal from Kellogg's can be part of a nutritious breakfast.
Okay. For the life of me, I can taste cinnamon, okay? And I know, I even today, when I was thinking about our conversation we're going to have tonight, I looked it up, and apparently there are dried apples that are used in creating Apple Jacks. But for the life of me, do you taste apples? When I know it has been a while, maybe, but apples?
I think I agree with you. I don't taste apples, and I may try a bowl today and see if I can taste differently. But they were mostly cinnamon.
Yeah, it was a cinnamon flavored kind of cereal.
Maybe that was part of the ingredients. Are like, don't let apples be the main thing in this because the kids are not going to like that. Just put a tiny bit of apple and a lot of cinnamon in there because apples and cinnamon always go together. So,
well, I think it's green, so like a green apple too. I get it. And from what I understand, apparently when they started out with the product, the mascot was an apple guy.
Yep.
And so, they clearly they wanted to tie into, and I believe, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but I think nefariously they wanted parents to think that maybe it was a healthier alternative of these sugared cereals because it has apples in it. But
they all did. Yeah.
Right. They all continue to do so, right?
Sure.
If you go down the cereal aisle, if we ate cereal alone, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we would be like the healthiest people in the world based on what you see on the covers of those boxes.
Well, now I will tell you the one thing, we did a little digging into this with BK on the air, Alan and I did, and we were looking at cereals at one point one Saturday, and we did our research and found out that when they said that, most of the kids' cereals were filled with sugar. Right. It's just because they got to appeal to them somehow to their taste buds. But when they said fortified with vitamins and minerals, they actually were. There were more vitamins and more minerals in cereal than there were just about any other like processed food that you could buy like that. So they weren't lying about that part. It was. And the Applejack kids, that sing the jingle. They started out being little animation drawings, then they moved into using real kids eventually. But the mascot kids, called the Applejack Kids, they started around 1971. But Applejacks was introduced in 1965, so they're 59 years old now.
Yeah,
so,
wow.
And again, much older than I thought that they were,
Right.
because I just didn't think much about it, about the year.
Now, are Applejacks, were they a favorite of young Barry
I did like
kid?
Applejacks, and I'll preference my list that I sent you. What I did is the ones that I compile for you is the commercials you're going to see tonight are my favorite cereal commercials, not necessarily my favorite cereals.
Gotcha.
Yeah. If they did, I would have included a Captain Crunch, which was a great commercial too, because Captain Crunch was always my favorite cereal. But yeah, these are my favorite cereal commercials, probably 5 of them anyway. Yeah.
And to that point, that jingle is ingenious. Whoever wrote that Applejacks jingle,
yeah,
I mean, it is, I think, an entire generation, boomers and Gen X, can repeat that song verbatim, whether you want to or not. You just know it. It's burned in your brain.
They use that jingle constantly for 21 years is how long that thing ran for.
Yeah.
It was successful.
Crazy. We're not going to show the commercial tonight, but, I recently did a video on Mikey and Life Cereal, and they played the same dang commercial without any change to it for 12 straight years. It was that popular.
Because we covered that on our commercial, our ad commercial show.
Did we talk about that last time? Yeah.
That's right.
Makes sense.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right. All right. We've got 5 more commercials to share with everybody, but we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in roughly 3 minutes. I've got a little song that will hopefully folks will find entertaining, all about Saturday mornings and cereal and cartoons. And then we're going to let our sponsor, Friendly TV, will share a message about them. And Barry, do you need to say something before we go?
3 minutes. That's quick enough for me to go get a bowl of cereal.
That's exactly right. All right, and I can get another Diet Coke. Coke Zero. By the way, Lance Chaffin, thank you for the super chat yesterday and for not only this Coke Zero, but the next one I'm going to get while we're on break. So we'll be right back, folks. Thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight.
My alarm goes off and the sunlight, it streams in. For a bowl of cereal, it is time to begin. Yeah, the cartoons are calling and I'm ready for escape. Another bowl of cereal and I'll put on my Batman cape. I still remember those joyous Saturdays, Super Friends and Scooby, all those animated plays. I hope they never, ever, ever go away. The simple thrill of cartoons shows made just for me. Another bowl of cereal and my parents are awake. They say something about chores. It's Saturday, for goodness sake. They say it doesn't matter and they turn the TV off. My heart is full of sorrow, but then I start to cough. I've got a genius idea, a foolproof, brilliant plan. I tell them that I'm sick, that I can barely stand, but they don't seem too bothered by the fact that I could die. In fact, if I didn't know better, they thought I told a lie. I still remember those joyous Saturdays, Super Friends and Scooby, all those animated plays. I hope they'd never, ever, ever go away. Simple thrill of cartoons, shows made just for me. I still remember those joyous Saturdays, Super Friends and Scooby, all those animated plays. I hope they'd never, ever, ever go away. Simple thrill of cartoons, shows made just for me. Cartoons are calling every Saturday. Cartoons are calling, a perfect way to spend the day. Cartoons are calling, they keep on calling. Cartoons are calling, shows made just for me.
Are you tired of paying way too much to stream live television? Well, my friends, let me introduce you to Friendly TV, where you can stream over 50 live TV channels each month for less than the cost of a fast food combo meal. And yes, that price also includes an unlimited cloud-based DVR, and you know what that means. You got it. You can skip through all the commercials. But that isn't even the best thing about Friendly TV. The thing that I love so much is that many of the channels allow you to relive your favorite childhood memories with classic TV shows from decades gone by. I'm talking about great shows like Andy Griffith, Leave It to Beaver, Batman, and Star Trek. Yep, the good stuff is on Friendly TV. Huge thanks to Friendly TV for sponsoring this episode of Adventures with BK and Dave. There's a link in the description section of the live stream or video if you're watching it later. When you click on it and try out Friendly TV for 7 days for free, you're supporting this channel. All right, let's get rolling. Okay, this is another, you know what? If you hadn't picked this commercial, I would have picked this one because this was my sister's absolute favorite cereal. And if she ever got to pick, this is the one that she'd pick. And the commercials were absolutely fantastic as well.
Come to the honeycomb hideout.
I'm Big Betty the Blonde Bomber, and I want a big cereal.
Honeycomb's big, yeah. It's not small, no. Honeycomb's got a big bite. Big taste in a big bite.
Right. A good breakfast featuring post honeycomb cereal gives you a
Big bite.
it tastes right.
Honeycomb bite. It tastes right.
What is it about the honeycomb hideout? They lied to us. It was not a hideout because everyone knew how to get there and go where it was. They weren't hiding in that thing.
But it was a super cool clubhouse, man. I mean, I wanted to hang out in the honeycomb hideout, and that the starting of all those commercials where you'd have that one guy come to the honeycomb hideout.
Right.
That was just genius. Whoever thought of that part, because I know growing up, I heard my friends and myself parrot that so many times.
They would not have let me in the honeycomb hideout because I was a freaky. That's reason enough not to let me in.
I don't know. Looking at those kids, I'd say you didn't have to be too cool to hang out at the honeycomb hideout.
They did another commercial. I mean, with all the people that were showing up, Andre the Giant, I think, showed up once, and the Hulk, the animated Hulk from that was based on Herb Trimp's art from the comic book, was showed up once too.
I don't remember that one. I'd love to see that one. Maybe it's on YouTube. I should check it out.
I'll send that one to you.
Okay, yeah, send it to me for sure. Yeah, did you like honeycombs?
I did. I liked honeycomb cereal. For some reason, it wasn't. I didn't get it a lot. I didn't eat that one a lot. But if it was available, I'm like, oh yeah, that's great cereal. Yeah. But it wasn't on my. I think it would be above my top 5, somewhere in the top 10, maybe, or higher up. But I would not have turned a bowl down. No way.
That's kind of where I am with honeycombs. It was, like I said, my sister Val's favorite cereal. She loved it. And that would be the one she'd pick, where I always go with Lucky Charms. She'd pick that one. I wouldn't turn down a bowl, but it wasn't, to me, it was, the flavor was a little more mellow, right? It was just that one flavor, the large honeycomb chunks, and there were no marshmallows.
Right. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the honeycomb cereal, I think it disintegrated pretty quick.
It got really mushy. Yeah.
Good word.
Yeah. Mushy. Okay, let's keep rolling, because this one is, I got the question I have for you after we watch the commercial. Is this the all-time greatest cereal mascot? That's my question for you.
Tony.
Mama.
You look hungry.
Come start your good breakfast with Kellogg's Sugar Frosted Flakes cereal. The secret frosting makes it extra crunchy, extra delicious.
I know. Flakes of corn with just the right amount of frosting for kids and adults.
How did I teach you to say it?
It's great.
You may be Mr. Breakfast to the rest of the world, but you know what you are to me.
Your widow, Tony.
I'm so proud of him. Sit up straight.
How long has Tony been around? I mean, he's got to be. Were Snap, Crackle, and Pop around before him? I don't know. I
don't remember the year that Rice Krispies came out, but I know that Tony the Tiger is 72 years old now. He came out in 1952,
wow. Yeah.
And out of all the plethora of Frosted Flake commercials with him, there's so many of them. They were still going on. I think there's still there's a new guy voicing him today and has been for years. But that one with his mom was the one that I remember the most seeing on television. I don't know why. There's a lot of others where he's playing basketball and he's like, they're great as they're playing basketball with kids and stuff. But that one right there with mom with the old lady voice. I don't know who's voicing the old lady, but it sounds like the lady doing Granny on the Warner Brothers cartoons. But I don't know if it's her or not. It sounds like yeah. But Tony the Tiger, Dallas McKinnon, a voice actor, did his voice first. But the one we hear there is the legendary Thurl Ravenscroft, the guy who talked for Tony the Tiger. He sung "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch" in the Grinch That Stole Christmas, which we just watched a couple of nights ago because it's that time of year.
Yeah.
And he also, I don't know if you remember the Peanuts cartoon where I think a Snoopy ran away or he was leaving or something like that, and he wanted to get on the bus and leave, and everywhere he'd try to go, he'd see a sign that says "No dogs allowed." That's him doing that. That his voice doing that too. So the guy has been around for years.
Yeah.
He's a great voice for Tony the Tiger. He was legendary.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that we remember that one best because of, it just probably hit us in our sweet spot. I'm guessing you're a year or two younger than me, Mr. King, but we were probably between 10 and 12 there when that aired. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's just the sweet spot for Saturday morning cartoons and that.
Oh, yeah. And he did that voice for 50 years.
Yeah.
For Tony the Tiger. That's just
crazy.
That's a good run.
Is crazy. Wow. All right. Moving on. Here's one that I loved. Not necessarily. This was, we were talking about earlier how at least I would mention my parents would buy the generic, the off-brand versions of the cereal. My parents would buy if they bought the off-brand version of this cereal, it was like deal breaker. Because what made this cereal so fantastic, and we'll talk a little bit more about it in just a minute, were not only the art on the box, but the prizes. This cereal, I don't know why this cereal seemed to have the best prizes in the world. So with that said, let's watch the commercial.
You like my coat? It's made of golden sugar. Tastes like the golden sugar coating on the Super Sugar Crisp.
Hey, boss, look! Yeah, a golden bear.
Hold on, this is a golden sugar coat. It's just like my cereal's golden sugar coating. Golden sugar coating makes my cereal
sweet, sweet, sweet.
Yeah! And Post Super Sugar Crisp cereal's part of a balanced breakfast.
I love your cereal's golden sugar coating.
That's why they call me Sugar Bear.
Not the oldest of all the cartoon characters hawking cereal, but one of the coolest. Sugar Bear was absolutely one of the coolest.
He was. He had to be the most suave cereal character, that voice, and nothing ever happened to him in the commercials. No one ever got the best of him in the commercials either. So he was great. You're right about the toys. I think Sugar. I think that was the cereal that I first got a record off of the back. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah, you and I have the same memory, Barry. I got this one, and I got One Bad Apple by the Jackson 5 on the back of the Super Sugar Crisp box.
Yeah.
Later on, look at this. Yo-yos inside. A yo-yo.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. A pinball game. This was back when there was good stuff at the bottom of the cereal box. A little pin or Skittle bowling or whatever that was called game.
Yeah.
And then we're getting to so this was later on. This was in the
there we
early 80s, but they had a contest. And at this point, I was past that sweet spot we just talked about, but they had a contest where you would draw a villain, and then you'd win. Your villain would be brought to life in a future commercial with superheroes. And let me play that commercial because I got to talk about that because that particular marketing ploy attracted an 18-year-old Dave Sundstrom into buying the cereal again and thinking that somehow pot of gold was awaiting him at the end.
Holy icicles!
In their daily pursuit of justice, our superhero characters do battle with the world's most evil villains. Where will the next evil villain come from? Maybe you will create them in Post Superheroes Create a Villain Contest.
Grand prize. 9 kids win a 1-week trip to Hollywood. They'll have breakfast with these superheroes.
And the villain they've created.
Second prize, 1,000 win bicycles.
Millions will enter, and everyone who does gets Superheroes puppy stickers.
Details on specially marked boxes of Alphabet, Super Sugar Crisp, Honeycomb, and Pebble cereals. You can draw and paint your villain in the picture provided. 3 different pictures.
Superman! Wonder Woman! Batman and Robin.
3 grand prizes per picture.
The most original villains win.
Holy Hollywood!
Post Superheroes Create a Villain Contest. Details on specially marked boxes of Alphabet, Super Sugar Crisp, Honeycomb, and Pebble cereals.
Okay, I was 17. I just looked at the dates there. I was 17, but I actually entered that contest with my villain.
That would impress us even after high school. I mean, that was a great commercial. What added gravitas to that was they used the voices from the Super Friends. And that worked. That was great.
The animation was off. It wasn't true Super Friends artwork, but the voices, you had Olin Soul, Casey Kasem, and I should know the names of the guy that did Superman and Wonder Woman, but
it was great. By the way, the chat was exploding. I have to tell you this because we did misinform on the Super Sugar Crisp record. One Bad Apple was the Osmonds, not the Jackson 5. And I'm like, okay, I know.
Yeah. That's right.
So,
but it was ABC.
They sounded alike. They really did.
But it wasn't the Osmonds. It was a Jackson 5 one, and it was ABC 1, 2, 3.
Right.
That's the Jackson 5, right? Whatever that one is.
I challenge everybody to go listen to ABC and then turn around and listen to One Bad Apple and tell me they weren't almost the exact same sounding song. They were very close. They
were indeed. But I apologize to our community for making that egregious error, and to the Osmonds, because I'm a huge Osmond fan, and I should not in any way ever misattribute one of their classics. And by the way, if anyone in this community has not listened to Crazy Horses by the Osmonds, it's one of the all-time great hard rock, heavy metal songs that everyone should have in their library.
I introduced Alan to Crazy Horses as I threw it in a bumper when we were coming back from a break on the show one Saturday, and he goes, "What is that?" And I said, "That is Ozzy Osbourne's favorite Osmond song," for obvious reasons, because they proved that they could rock and roll.
Yeah, it's Steve Stevens. He who was Billy Idol's guitarist, or still is, I believe. He posted that to TikTok about a year ago, saying, "One of my all-time favorite songs." And they played that.
It's great.
Very, very. They were talented musicians, along with great entertainers.
For sure.
Okay, one more commercial, and this is my wife's favorite cereal, or at least it was until Reese's Puffs came along. And I always loved these. I always loved these commercials, so we should watch one. This one's from '93. I went a little bit more present day. I mean, it's still, what are we talking, 30 plus years?
Right.
But for obvious reasons. So let's go ahead and watch this.
Watch me trick Fred out of his Cocoa Pebbles.
Mr. Spock!
My search for something super chocolatey has led me here.
Must be my delicious Cocoa Pebbles.
Fascinating.
They're yours if you take me on the Enterprise.
Mega chocolatey taste.
Feed me up. Dino? Barney, my pebbles.
Warp speed ahead.
Post Cocoa Pebbles cereal, part of this nutritious breakfast.
Now,
I just love a shared universe between the Flintstones and Star Trek.
Come on, they missed an opportunity there when Fred dematerialized and beamed up wherever he went. It should have been George Jetson's thing, and he goes, "Hey George, what are you doing here?" And then he went back.
That would have been awesome. Yeah,
But yeah, that was a great commercial. I remember that one, that Star Trek tie-in.
Yeah, and for the longest time, that was the shtick on those Fruity and Cocoa Pebbles commercials were that Barney was always trying to trick Fred into giving him cereal. And I don't understand the logic of that. Why
they turned it into trick cereal with the Flintstones, and I don't know why either.
Why is Fred being so mean to Barney?
They're pals. They're the animated Ralph and Ed on the Honeymooners. Come on.
I mean, they would sneak onto the side of their house and smoke, the two of those guys.
Well, Roma was working. Right?
Yeah, love the Cocoa Pebbles for the same reason as Count Chocula, right? You had the great cereal.
Oh, yeah.
You ate it fast because of the mushy thing. They could go mushy fast as well.
Oh, yeah.
And then you just had a lovely chocolate milk drink to finish up the breakfast.
It's funny you should mention and play the Star Trek one with this, because they actually mentioned the Enterprise and that and everything. So I had permission, but
they did.
I didn't. It's not on the list of commercials, but General Mills's Cheerios and some of the other ones, even the Monster cereals, did a tie into Star Trek: The Motion Picture in 1979, and they had collector cards on the back and pictures of Kirk and Spock and stuff like that. So they did that as well, tied it into the movie.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that said, we've gone through our 10 commercials.
Good ones.
Some great choices, Barry. Really great choices. Thank you for sending those to me. I'm going to throw it out to you guys now. I'm starting right now in the chat at 7:17 p.m. So, folks, tell me your favorite commercial, whatever you want to share memory-wise, and we will put it up on the screen. And if there's things to add, if we have commentary, of course, we will add that as well. So I'll just wait here. You see Music Girl 67, by the way, in the chat. The channel member, Music Girl 67, a.k.a. Ms. Elizabeth. Let's see. What? Danny Staten says you didn't mention the Flintstone cereal Pebbles. We just did, Danny. Are you a little bit behind? You might be a little bit behind. We just did. We showed the Star Trek commercial for that. All right. Channel member Lance Chaffin says Silly Rabbit Tricks are for kids. Great cereal. Great commercial.
Poor rabbit.
Yep. Auburn Kim, another one that we talked about earlier. Favorite commercial was the Honeycomb Hideout. Yeah. Like I said, John Collins says, did you see my super chat? Did not, because again, we were focusing on the conversation, but that's a great reminder. Let me go back. StreamYard does a great job of snagging those for me so I can take a look. And again, I know there were some milestone messages prior to the start of the live stream. The StreamYard did not capture them tonight, so I missed those, and I apologize for that. But let me get John's super chat and the milestone messages. John says, thanks to the channel, diaphoretic hernias are nothing to play with. I lost 20 pounds. Dave, thanks for the call. Balance, yes. When we should all strive to achieve balance between, all the good times we have here on YouTube and real life, right? That's important. And then he says, becoming a monk? No, laugh out loud. So it's great to have you back, John. But yes, please focus on your health and your recovery. And we'll look forward to many future interactions with you in the future. And thank you so much for the super chat. Really, really appreciate it. I see
something from Gary Carpenter asked who did the voice of Sugar Bear, and I think that was an actor named Jerry Matthews. Look that up. It's Jerry Matthews with a G, Gerry, Jerry Matthews.
Okay.
Sugar Bear.
I thought you were going to say Jerry Mathers, and I was going to say no way, no way.
No, not him.
Channel member Mama Pinks, who has been a member for 35 months of the channel. Thank you so much for your supporting membership. Mama Pinks says in 1996, my daughter called Fruit Loops soup poops. What? Oh my goodness. Kind of takes away the yumminess of it. Soup poops. And channel member Tracy Roth Myers, who's been a member for 3 years now, 3 solid years, 36 months, says, I remember a couple of the ad agencies my dad worked for had these accounts, like they had Kellogg's account and the Post account at one time or another. Very cool. Tracy has quite a rich heritage family-wise, also related somewhat distantly to the lead singer of Van Halen, Mr. David Lee Roth. So,
oh wow,
she has some connections. Thank you so much for those milestone messages, and John for your super chat. Truly appreciated. Let me go back to the live feed real quick here. Let's see. Channel member Music Girl 67 says, did they talk about the Super Smacked Frog? Ribbit? Nope, we did not talk about the frog tonight. Diggum. His name was Diggum. That's right.
Diggum. They had some good commercials too, but we didn't have them
good
on
commercials. Yeah. You covered the voice of Sugar Bear. Good job, BK. I would not have known that off the cuff. Let's see. Bob in Michigan says, always enjoyed the Wheaties commercials with the sports cigars. Yeah, I did too. It was always fun to see who would show up on those boxes, right?
But only the commercials. I didn't want the cereal. I never.
Right. I didn't like Wheaties either. They just weren't.
Cereal, yeah.
Yeah. No. I'm out. Let's see. Blotchy Bear says too many to mention, but Trix and Jackson 5's alphabet cereal. There you go, ABC. 12-inch Lando says Lando cereal or Life cereal was underrated. Yeah, for sure. Life cereal, for being a non-sugar cereal, pretty darn tasty.
It was
pretty
good.
darn tasty. Let's see what else we Music Girl 67 channel member Ms. Elizabeth says Mikey from Life Cereal would have been my number one. Great commercial.
Great spot,
really a genius marketing campaign. Let's see. Oh yeah, Auburn Kim mentions Toucan Sam. Yes, he's still around. I think he's still hawking what is that cereal?
Fruit Loops.
Follow your nose. Fruit Loops, yeah.
Fruit Loops. They've changed him quite a bit, though. His animation has changed, and the look of his character has changed a lot, but he's still there, yeah.
Blotchy Bear says, wish we had a 24-hour Dave Sundstrom channel. That'd be tough to maintain. Barry, could you kind of just stick around and keep running it for me?
Well, you know the way they deep fake now, you could put your face over mine, and I could probably keep it going as long as we could, and you could come back in the morning.
That's right. We'll take shifts. A Child says, I love Pebbles. Yeah, my wife's favorite cereal, the Cocoa Pebbles. Let's see. Kittyco says, first time in chat. Nice people. Glad to be here. Yes, this community is fantastic. Please feel free to visit anytime we have a live stream. You will discover that these are some of the kindest, nicest people out there. Gary Carpenter says, I won't play that commercial. Well, I would have if I thought about it, but can't now. I don't have it prepped, so will not tonight. Let's see. John Majunkin's got a list for us. Cap'n Crunch, Frosted Flakes, Blueberry Wafflos. I remember those. Cocoa Puffs, Fruity Pebbles, Honeycombs, G.I. Joe Stars. Don't remember those. Smurfs Berry Cereal. I remember those. Sir Grapefellow, do not remember. And Kellogg's Rice Krispies. Any of those draw blank for you, Barry, or do you remember all of those?
I'm familiar with all of those. Of course, Captain Crunch was my favorite. That's without the Crunch Berries now. There's nothing wrong with that one, but I like the regular Captain Crunch. But Sir Grapefellow had a companion cereal with it, which was Baron von Berry or something based on strawberries. And they were like a World War I type thing.
Feuding, right? Oh, wait. Yeah. I do kind of remember that. Yeah.
But I do remember those.
I remember the 2 scoops of raisins ad campaign that Auburn Kim mentions.
And Chance had mentioned that earlier too. That's a great jingle. The 2 scoops, Raisin Bran, and competing Raisin Brands too. One by Kellogg's and one by Post.
Right. Yeah. Did you have a preference? Mine was
really
Post.
Didn't. I mean, I think Kellogg's was the one that we got the most. I think it probably had more sugar on the raisins, probably for some reason. But that was kind of a healthy brand cereal with raisins, which I actually liked as a kid. I liked Raisin Bran.
I did too. And I didn't understand back then that bran was kind of a healthy thing to eat. I just loved the raisins in the cereal.
Well, if we'd have found out it was healthy for us, we would have stopped eating it immediately.
Right away. A Child says both Pebbles, fruity and cocoa. Yeah, they're both really yummy. Let's see. Sakina McMurrin says, I love the Life cereal commercial. Let's get Mikey. Yeah, he won't eat it. He hates everything. Yeah, That's a great commercial. Let's see. Danny finally got caught up. Good to have you caught up with us, Danny. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Speaking of the monster cereals, the green Monster Girl cereal was called Camilla Creeper, I think.
That's one of the newer ones, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So John Collins says next time should be Christmas and holiday commercials. I agree with you, John. Channel member John Collins, I should say. Barry, would you be opposed to inviting our other two retro pals to join us for the next episode so that we could kind of bring the whole retro pal gang together for a holiday episode?
I would probably go to the ends of the earth for all three of you guys. I'm telling you that right now. So I would love it.
That'd be awesome. So, John, we will take that suggestion into high consideration. High consideration. Let's see. What else do we got here? Apple Jacks turned me into a motor mouth. The sugar rush. That's what Bob in Michigan says.
Sure,
I think a lot of these sugar cereals did, right? Okay. Channel member Music Girl 67 says, I used to hate when all they would have on the back of the boxes was coupons. Oh, yeah. That's the coupons. What good is that to us? Right? At least
and the
have
nutrition
like
and the nutritional chart. Who wants
Yeah.
that? I don't want to read anything. Yeah.
A super chat here from Mama Pinks, and thank you so much for the super chat, Mama Pinks. Going back to Fruit Loops, she was saying soup poops when she was 4. So yeah,
okay, that's
which makes it cute, right? Totally cute.
I'm calling them that now, so watch out.
From now on, they're soup poops for me
That's
too.
right.
Let's see. Oh, wait, here. Blatchy Bear wants to know if anyone's tried the Magic Spoon cereal. Some folks said they're very good. This is the low-carb, keto kind of cereal. Have you tried them, Barry?
I have. I tried some of the healthier cereals now since we're knocking on, I'm not going to say the age, but yeah, just trying to get a little healthier. And they are one of the better tasting cereals that are low carb. They have a fruity one, they have a peanut butter one, and I think a chocolate one. I'm not sure, but they're be prepared depending on where you live to pay anywhere from
Expensive.
$8, $9, $10 a box. But
yeah,
they're actually pretty good. Tiny bit of an aftertaste after you get done. Not as bad as some of there's one called Catalina Crunch, which is for me is horrible. I tried that one. They're not a sponsor of my show, so I can say that. So, but yeah, I give a thumbs up to Magic Spoon. They're pretty good.
Okay. I'll have to try them. They're at Costco, and I've seen them a couple times. It is a little bit cheaper at Costco. I think it's 2 flavors and a little bigger box, and I think it's like $12, but still, I mean,
give it a shot.
You get to enjoy being a kid again and eat a little healthier. That's not a bad thing.
Sure.
Auburn Kim says cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Yeah, Sunny, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
There's a straight jacket for that bird somewhere.
Yep.
There really is.
Hey, Uncle Paul's Beatles Pop Playhouse. Now, this is a channel, folks. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, this is a fun channel. I've really enjoyed. He's 4 videos so far, maybe 5. I haven't watched the 5th one if it's out there, but I watched the first 4 from Uncle Paul. This guy, he's obviously a Beatles fan. There's lots of Beatles stuff, but it's just like a trip. You're like going into an antique shop and someone sharing all the cool stuff with you. So, folks, check him out. He says, we love the cereal box records at the Playhouse, Dave. Yeah, I think I saw you. Did you share one in one of your last videos? Maybe it was just on screen, but yes, those cereal box records were the best. Let's see. Channel member Mama Pinks never really liked the chocolate cereals. Oh, Hugh Hefner. Now, this is a cereal we had a lot because it was one of my dad's favorites. Shredded wheat and grape nuts. Yeah, I actually grew to enjoy grape nuts. Never really jumped on the shredded wheat train the way he did, but the grape nuts.
They could have frosted. I know they frosted the shredded wheat too and everything. They could have done anything they want. And I'm like, I still feel like I'm eating a thing of hay.
Yeah.
It's like I just can't do it.
Let's see. Kitty Coast says, does anyone remember Post Oat Flakes? I remember Post Toasties. I don't remember Post Oat Flakes. They're probably fairly similar.
There's a good Gomer Pyle and Andy Griffith commercial on YouTube for Post Toasties too. Yeah, that they hawked for a while.
Yes, they did. So that was like early 60s. And I remember having Post Toasties. So I don't think they're still around. Maybe they are, but
I haven't seen them.
Yeah. All right. I think we got to stop here. We're hitting the 1 hour mark. Barry King, BK on the air. Why don't you tell these folks all about the awesome things that you're doing, my friend?
Well, first of all, let me thank Dave for having me on the channel tonight to talk about stuff that we like, the retro stuff that we love. But you can find me. I have a show called BK on the Air on this place right here behind me, the WBHF AM 1450 and 100.3 FM out of Cartersville, Georgia. We're just northwest of Atlanta. We're an Atlanta suburb, but use the ways you can hear me live every Saturday from 10 a.m. till noon Eastern. If you're not close and can use a terrestrial radio, you can listen to me and stream me on WBHFradio.org, which is our website, or you can download our wonderfully new free WBHF radio app. I can't even get it to, it's too glowy here to come in. I was going to show you a picture of it, but it's free for Apple and the other inferior phone. I can't remember what it's called, Galaxy or something like that.
Android.
Yep. Android. Yeah. The other phone
that one.
Either one. You can download it for either one. You can stream live the show from there as well. You can also call the station from there if you want to go on the air and talk about stuff. But that's what I talk about 10 to noon every Saturday. Just retro, wonderful stuff, cool stuff that we grew up with. I was born in the 60s. I grew up in the 70s, and I graduated high school in the early 80s. That's my generation. I'm a Gen Xer for sure. And and if you miss it, you can go to our podcast to the podcast archive and hear the show archive there in case you missed it on Saturday. So, and you can I have a YouTube channel. Look for BK on there on YouTube. I'm on Facebook and X and Instagram, and you can email me too, bkontheair@gmail.com. Just check me out, and like I say, same stuff this guy over here talks about. We all share the same passion for retro and geeky stuff, and it'll never go away, and we love it.
We sure do. And let me tell you, your Saturday mornings, that's the perfect way to spend a Saturday morning, is firing up a BK on the air. And Alan's great. You got a great co-host there. And, someone who typically he's typically off doing his own thing, talking about things that I'd rather just leave into the ether, but he's great on Saturday mornings with you.
Yeah, you should see him before he has his coffee, though. It's really interesting to see him before he drinks that coffee every Saturday morning. Well, there's no more cartoons on network television on Saturday morning, so that's why I'm filling that gap from 10 till noon, because the cartoons are gone, and we'll talk about anything like that, which is fun.
Yep. And to your point on the app, I actually really love the app. The app's wonderful. It even has, and where I listen to an awful lot now is if you install it on your Apple device, and you have CarPlay on your phone, it shows right up there on your dash, and you can fire up BK on the air while you're going on your long drives, wherever those might be.
Take me along. I'm no trouble. Just listen. You'll have a good time.
Barry's great company, let me tell you. That's for sure.
Thank you.
All right. Speaking of great company, you've been awesome, Barry. Thank you so much for joining me again. And thank you to each and every member of this community for making these episodes so special. Your engagement truly adds an element to it that it just makes it really special. So thank you so much. And of course, thanks to Friendly TV for sponsoring this episode. Link in the description section. Click on it. You're supporting the channel. And thanks to our channel members, our supporting channel members as well. Folks, have a great week. Thanks again, Barry. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for standing by through and through. It's the kind of strength that lifts the shadows too. And all I gotta say is thank you.
Click on that thumbnail 'cause it's time to go. Dave's got the classics, let the memories flow. TV shows and movies that we all hold so dear. On his YouTube channel, he's keeping memories near. Dave Sundstrom, bringing back the good stuff, oh yeah.